What is going on, y'all? It is your boy Weepeeler in the house, and welcome to LEGO Star Wars Microfighters. Been on a huge LEGO kick as of late. Love me some Star Wars, and I saw this on the iTunes store for like 99 cents. I'm like, dude, even if it blows, it's going to be awesome because it's LEGO and Star Wars. So let's get into this. This is something new for me, iPhone recording. Hopefully you guys are going to enjoy this, man. I had some fun. I jumped on, played one game quick, and the recording screwed up, so here we are again. But what I'm going to do, instead of commentating over the actual gameplay, like what's going on, I'm going to talk more about Star Wars, my childhood with it. Growing up on Star Wars Episode 4, 5, and 6, that was it, man. When they were remaking those, I thought kind of like blasphemy, you know, leave them as they were, and then they made the prequels, which were even worse in my opinion, but, you know, they're trying to tie the story all together and all that good stuff. But what I need you guys to do in the comment section below, drop me some questions aimed at me about Star Wars. Not like, yo, who was Han Solo's father, but like, you know, what I enjoyed about Star Wars, what I didn't enjoy about it. Growing up, though, I loved it, man. My dad, dude, I'm going to date myself here, but we had a VCR and used to be able to record onto a VCR tape either 2 hours really high quality or up to 6 hours for kind of extended play and not the greatest quality. What my dad did, though, being the boss that he was, he recorded Episode 4, 5, and 6 onto one VCR tape. This was like the holy grail VCR tape as my childhood. I used to pop that thing in, sit down for about 6 hours and watch Star Wars. I don't even think I took a bathroom break. I just went in and was like, yo, we're going to play some G.I. Joes in front of the TV, and Star Wars is going to be on. And I'm telling you, kids, I grew up on this stuff. I love it, man. I never got into Star Trek or anything like that. I thought Star Wars was it. Star Wars was the ish, and it still is, man. It's funny to see, you know, kids nowadays, and they're all, oh, I love Star Wars. I love it, man. And a lot of them grew up on the, you know, Episode 1, 2, and 3, and they're okay. I mean, they obviously tied the story together, but nothing beats the classics, dude. You got Han Solo, you got Chewbacca, you got Luke Skywalker, you got a hot Princess Leia. All that ties together. Great storyline, great special effects for back in the day. I mean, these things came out in, what, late 70s and then the early 80s, so they definitely came out before I was born. I think I was about 5 or 6 when I first saw Episode 4, obviously, A New Hope. And the first one was never my favorite. Growing up, I've become to appreciate it a little bit more. I loved Empire Strikes Back, still my favorite. Still probably my favorite, one of my favorite movies of all time, actually. The fight scene in Hoth, I think, forever is ingrained in my head as one of the coolest action scenes. And I don't know, mixed with the snow and mixed with all the animals and creatures and AT-ATs. I mean, that's just absolutely stunning what they could do, and how they did that with stop motion and made it look like they were actually out there flying in cruisers, and just sick stuff, man. I mean, absolutely blows my mind to this day that they could create a world like that, and so detailed, and they've named everything, and they used to have, you know, mini figurines and things. I never was into that as a kid. I just loved the movies. Never really got into playing with the action figures and whatnot. Did have a few G.I. Joe knockoffs of like Luke Skywalker and Han Solo and all that stuff. But growing up, I was a G.I. Joe kid. And I'm telling you, man, I used to sit in front of the TV, put on the VCR tape of Star Wars, and sit there. I used to set all my G.I. Joes up, and I had a rubber band gun, and I used to shoot them down and be like, yo, John Wayne back in the day. But I'm telling you, man, growing up on this stuff, just, it's funny to see it nowadays, kind of how big it is and how huge Star Wars is, and all these different conventions that are out there, and it's cool, man. It's really cool to see that George Lucas made this world, and that everybody can kind of get into it and feel it, you know? It's neat stuff, and going along with the Force and whatnot, you know, my boy Yoda, as you can see on the left-hand side of the screen, one of the coolest dudes in the planet, and I don't know, man, I guess I'm a dork, man. I guess you can call me a Star Wars geek. I think the series was awesome. I think episodes 1, 2, and 3, not my favorite, obviously. Episode 1 probably being the weakest. Episode 3 probably pretty close to being the weak one of the length too. But I just didn't get the same feel. It was a little too polished. It didn't have that gritty feel of you know, episodes 4, 5, and 6. And obviously when they went back and redid those, I was kind of really bummed. I didn't want to see the extra CGI and extra CG, excuse me. And I didn't think it tied into the way that the movies were kind of developed. You know, it was a real raw feel. I mean, Darth Vader, the baddest mother effer on the planet, just had no mercy toward anyone, not even his own followers. He was killing people, choking out people on his own starships and whatnot. So you could get the feel that the guy was an absolute badass, and to find out, you know, that Luke was his son and that Leia was his sister was a little creepy because Luke had a nice smooch with his sister. But it was a great storyline, man. And growing up, I didn't really get the full effects of it until I kind of got into my teenage years and really watched it again. And you view things in a different light when you get a little bit older, and to see the storyline and how it pulled out kind of everything from every angle. It just seemed like it was a really cool flick. And imagine being someone who can create a universe like that to where everybody, or not everybody, but a lot of people can relate to it, kind of like the Avatar nowadays, you know, where people were totally pulled into the Na'vi and just feeling the effects of a totally different civilization. And Star Wars did that. Star Trek, in my opinion, never did that. It came out, I think, it come out a little bit before Star Wars, I think the actual TV show, and never got into Star Trek, man. Wasn't a Trekkie. Couldn't get into that. I don't know why. I think it was based more like on the starship versus in the whole universe and whatnot. But Star Wars to this day, I could still sit down and watch Empire Strikes Back. Empire Strikes Back. Excuse me. I did watch it the other night actually. My girl won't watch it with me. Downfall. I guess she's not a keeper, says Darth Vader on Twitter. But she won't watch it, man. She thinks it's corny. Thinks it's like, you know, jokes and whatnot. I think it's good. It's got a good storyline. It's not just about the, you know, the nerdy feel of everything else that goes on in the movies, but there's good storyline behind it. You know, you got the protagonist and the antagonist, and you got Vader going after the rebels, and I just think it's good stuff, man. And in my opinion, like I said before, the strongest of the three original episodes was got to be episode 5 with Empire Strikes Back. One of the best movies I think ever made, and just really cool stuff, man. Cool effects, cool storyline. Again, it was right in the middle. It kind of tied a couple things together, but left a lot of things open at the end of the movie. And Return of the Jedi was cool too. I definitely thought that was a beast flick. Up until about like the Ewoks and stuff. I liked it, man. They were never my favorite as a kid, though, the whole Ewok scene. I did like the jungle, the cruiser, the speeders, trying to get through that and ripping dudes off in the trees and whatnot. But I don't know that whole kind of, that whole feel just didn't really get me until I got a little bit older. I used to skip that stuff as a kid, I think, a lot of times. But those worlds were crazy when you look back on it now. And I think what they did and they missed in the original, or sorry, the episode 1, 2, and 3 is the fact that it was a little too elaborate, you know. I guess they had to do that for the audience. It can't be as dull as it was back in, you know, the early 80s, but it was just overkill. Like, there were a lot of things back in episode 1, 2, and 3 that weren't in 4, 5, and 6, and it just didn't make a lot of sense. It didn't really tie everything together. I didn't think the actors and actresses did as good of a job as they did in the originals. Nobody beats a Han Solo. I mean, obviously, dude, Harrison Ford back in the day, absolute beast. And Chewbacca, dude, Chewie, man, you can't knock the Chewbacca boy. One of my coolest characters back in the day too, and I just think he epitomized the whole Star Wars thing. He couldn't talk, but he could with real emotion, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, definitely good stuff, man. If you guys have not seen the Star Wars movies, which I don't think any of you have, missed those, definitely go back and check those out. They're really worth checking out. I would say go for the originals. Screw the CG added stuff. Go for the originals. Check those out. Go in with an open mind, kind of thinking, you know what, maybe this isn't the best movie. Maybe I'm not going to be blown away by it, but I guarantee you will be. I think the storyline was cool, and all the effects and the fact that it was space and there were so many different creatures and everything, and nothing was really like that back in the day, you know what I mean? So, good stuff, and Rough Landing is complete. Hopefully you guys enjoyed hearing me ramble about Star Wars. Hopefully it's going to be a little bit more categorized next time. I want you guys to leave comments in the section below. Hit me on Twitter at WePeeler. Just shoot questions my way about what I liked, what I didn't like, and anything you guys can think of about Star Wars for me. And I'll get back into this. Hopefully they're going to make a next-gen Star Wars Lego game. That would be awesome. I played the Marvel one, and that was definitely kick-ass. The superhero one was really cool. Right now I'm also into the Lego movie walkthrough, so make sure you check that out if you can. And yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.